Well, it was back in my college days, and it was a summer job. I was talking to my coworker, one of the only ones I got along with, and being another car guy, we had a lot to talk about. And he was telling me about one of the other guys we work with, and he was super proud about when he bought this new to him car. And he's thinking, okay, well, like, what did he get? And he's thinking, I know his personality. He's not the most wild and outgoing person, so I'm assuming he's probably gotten like something weird and decent, but he's making it sound like this world's greatest car. And he goes out, and there it is, a Pontiac Firefly 4-door sedan variation, not the hatch, the sedan variation, like this gelatinous blob of a vehicle. And he's telling me this story at lunchtime, and I'm just like, and I turn and I look at their coworker, and I'm like, yeah, that's the type of vehicle that would probably suit him. He's like, how did you know? I said, car selection. There's a lot of stuff behind it, and there's a lot that comes down to it for each person. Your selection is essentially already made for you by your own personality. Today, AutoLooks is going to take a look at how we select vehicles that we're going to purchase. Welcome back to the AutoLooks podcast. I am your host, as always, the doctor to the automotive industry, Mr. Everett J, coming to you from our host website at AutoLooks.net. If you haven't been there, stop by, check it out, read some of the reviews, check out some of the ratings, and go to the Corporate Links website page. Big or small, we have them all on the AutoLooks.net website. The AutoLooks podcast is brought to you by Ecom Entertainment Group and distributed by Podbean.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us, send us an email over at email@AutoLooks.net. So like I said in the beginning, this coworker that we had and the vehicle he made his choice for. Car selection is one of those things that really boils down to the type of person you really are. Your personality kind of defines the vehicle you're going to be purchasing. Me, you might just say I'm kind of bland, boring, and really just don't care about myself. Considering the fact I own two Kias that both have bland, boring designs. The only difference is I may be bland and boring on the outside. Underneath, I'm fun and outgoing when you get me going. Because my two bland and boring vehicles have been customized and personalized to my own point. Not to the extent that I really want them to be, but I'm always striving to make my vehicles look better than what else is out there. It's my personality. It's coming out into these vehicles. But in all reality, why did I make those choices? Well, with my first vehicle, my little Rio, I'm sorry to say, I was actually looking for a sports car. I got pressed for time and kind of just got stuck with what I could afford at the point in time. The only thing is, my selection was based off of having a stick shift. And that's the only reason why I have that little mini pocket rocket out in the garage, is because it has a stick shift in it. I wouldn't have gone out and just bought anything else. Hell, if I wanted to, I would have just poured more money into my Concorde and kept that little beast around for a lot longer. But no, I wanted a 5-speed. I wanted to shift through the gears. I wanted to have fun and be in control of that power. And that's how my selection was made. And the only reason why I decided to go with the vehicle I did is because my other option, there's 1.5 million of them out there, and everybody has them customized and done already. I wanted something different and unique, like myself. So I chose the bland and boring vehicle. I chose the Caterpillar and turned it into a butterfly. And that's one of the things I do. But when I'm going out and looking for a brand new vehicle, and I get to make the choice 100% on everything about it, everybody's always got, they can always say, oh, I went and checked quality, and I have my own specific brands that I only go to, and I only like this car company because they're better for the environment, or they got some nice colors. Oh, I like their features. Bullshit, okay? When it all comes down to it, your personality really comes out in the vehicle of choice for you. And that's one of the new pages that's going to be coming to AutoLooks next year, is our sex appeal page. Basically bringing out the different variations and different mentalities of people to showcase what their automotive personality really is. Oh yeah, it's a coming. Just wait for it. It's going to be good. But your selection is based off of your personality. Have you ever noticed that a lot of douchebag people out there will drive, as you call them, douchebag cars? They'll drive a Mustang. They'll drive a BMW. A lot of people will go out and buy those specific vehicles. And for that select purpose, it's because their personality really comes out with their vehicle of choice. And it's not just their vehicle of choice. It's also what segment of the market they're in as well. Because not everybody makes a decision off of what vehicle they think they need. A lot of people will actually go out and choose their vehicle based off of what they've come to know and come to like. My wife, for example, doesn't want to drive just a standardized front-wheel drive sedan. It's got to be all-wheel drive. That's what she feels safe in. Her RAV4 is a step up from her SX4 that she originally started driving when she got her license. For myself, I've just gotten kind of bigger, driven a few trucks. I'm kind of all over the place. See, with me, it's very different. Now I'm looking at trucks. I've essentially gotten bigger and bigger with my vehicles. My last vehicle was the CX-9. I loved it. It was fun. But the only reason why I bought that and my big beast of a Borrego is because I needed that extra bench in the back. I had 2 young kids. We travel a lot. The only reason why now we could do it a little bit better with the RAV4 is I don't have to bring strollers. I don't have to bring, playpens. Even if we go camping, it's a lot less stuff. You think just because we're older, we'd have to bring more, but no, we actually bring less. So I don't need as big a vehicle. Now, not to say that my next vehicle isn't going to be a small vehicle yet again, but my kids will be older, but I'll be able to afford to travel further, which means I'm going to need a bigger vehicle yet again. So my car selection is going to be based off of what my attitude likes, the vehicles I like, and what suits my personality. Essentially, when you look at somebody sitting across from you, you can almost decide what type of vehicle they drive. And it's very easily. Like I said, their personality really comes out with their vehicle. I've actually tried this a few times. Tried it with my father-in-law, I've tried it with my dad, tried it with my uncles and aunts, I've tried it with my friends, all the different vehicles. I have one friend, he's German, loves his home country, loves his dad, loves, all the history behind it. Volkswagen. He's Volkswagen all the way. If it's not German, he doesn't want to own it. Like, he has owned other vehicles, not by choice. But when he started buying brand new vehicles, he made his choice as Volkswagen. Smaller vehicles too, because he doesn't travel around as much as I do. So he gets himself little hatchbacks. Even with one child now, they're driving around in a Q5. There are some people out there that'll just go monstrous with this. See, a lot of people will choose vehicles, like I said, based off their personality. A small, tiny little girl driving a massive Jeep Grand Wagoneer has a complex, and it really comes out in their vehicle. Especially if it's the Grand Wagoneer with full chrome package and everything. It's like, I'm tiny, I'm small, but I'm a fucking bitch. Like, really, when you see those, that's what you start thinking. Like, try this. If you're sitting in your car right now listening to this podcast, just look around at the people sitting around you. If you're stuck in traffic, let's say my home province, if you're stuck in Toronto traffic right now, but you're listening to my podcast, take a look at the people around you and the vehicles they're driving. Do they look similar to the vehicles they drive? People have said this about animals, like your pets. A lot of people said my last dog kind of looked like me. I never saw anything about it. It was my wife's choice of a dog, but the dog loved me. We're both grouchy, we're both antisocial, and we talk a real lot sometimes and then sleep the rest of the time. So, yeah, I guess we kind of were similar. But cars are an extension of yourself, and your selection is based off of what you need in the world, but also your style. I've learned this over the years of rating vehicles and their designs and wondering how such bland, boring designs can still sell well. Like, when you all think about it, Honda, for the longest time, why were people buying Honda product? They were boring designs. Just like Mercedes. They had the most simplistic designs, even in the luxury world, but people bought them in droves because it's the way they perceive them and the way they perpetuated their image onto those vehicles. It's serious. The personality of the person really comes out into the vehicle. There are a lot of bland, boring people out there who wear their khaki pants, live in their suburb, drink their coffee every single day, get up, go to work, come home, take their 2 weeks vacation, work until they retire, and then go to Florida and die. There's tons of people out there. So there's a lot of generic looking vehicles out there at specific sizes, specific designs, specific colors with specific features. One thing I've come to know about the automotive industry is that there are so many sheep in the world. Having so many different car companies really doesn't matter. Everybody says, well, it's a personal choice and I got brand loyalty to this guy. Yeah, but you're buying a vehicle that's essentially the exact same gelatinous blob as that one over there. Take a look at the compact CUV marketplace and how big it is. Put a lot of those vehicles, take a side view, put them in a shadow format. How many of them can you differentiate from each other? Not a lot of them. They're bland, they're boring, but they're all very similar to each other. The people that go out and get vehicles that are completely different than what everyone else has are the people who like to stand out in the crowd. Myself is part of that. A lot of people in my family will go out and buy just a generic vehicle and blend into the crowd. My wife is actually part of that too. She doesn't do anything with a RAV, it's just her RAV. Never did anything with a Suzuki, it was just her Suzuki. My CX-9 I could say that about, but at the time when I had the CX-9, I also had a company vehicle with the place I was working at that time, so I really didn't showcase a lot of my personality into it. But my new beast of a truck, within a few months of purchasing it, aftermarket tires and wheels, and by the next summer I painted the grille, did the hood, made it my own. My personality personality came out in that vehicle. It's bland, it's boring, but it's different. It's kind of like your car selection. The people who don't know what they want to get are the people who will just go to any different car company and they'll pick it based off of 1, the perception of themselves onto the vehicle, and 2, price. I've learned this through my family. My brother and sister-in-law have the exact same vehicle now. They both have a Chevy Trax. They're cheap and they're a similar image to themselves. A gelatinous blob of society. Because essentially that's what the Chevy Trax is. It takes the same form as every other crossover utility vehicle out there. Seriously, put it up against anything else and you'll find so many similarities between it. Now, the reason why they went with the CUV were before they had a Dodge Journey. They had a Dodge Dart. Well, the Dart was my brother-in-law's choice. It was this tiny little sporty car. He wanted something sporty but couldn't afford something super big, but liked the vehicle that kind of personified his outgoing personality and in-your-face attitude. That was his Dodge Dart. The Journey was their family vehicle, but still insinuated that generalization of the world around them, but the ability to be utilized and versatile. Now they're new vehicles, they're going out buying brand new vehicles, and they went to the Trax. Why? Price came first, but the design of it is just regular designs. You know, I go through this every time I talk to somebody when they're talking about getting a new vehicle. My parents were like that when they got their new Cherokee, and they live down back roads, they got to go out to camp, they got to tow stuff, so they're looking at all the things, but they're diehard Chrysler Corporation fans. Well, can't say that anymore, it's all Stellantis, right? So they wanted the off-road. They wouldn't get a regular Jeep Cherokee, it's got to be the Trailhawk too, because of the off-road abilities, similar to that of my dad's truck. They had a 300 before, which was just standard, go back and forth to work and home, but they needed something more versatile and set to their personality, so the Cherokee was it. A generalized design, but still has those added features that they need for their life. Now, the original design of the Cherokee, when it had those slit headlights on them, wouldn't have fallen into their personality. The new standardized headlights are more of their personality. So when you see the vehicle now, it's more of a reflection of themselves. The 300 was a really good reflection of my dad as well. You know, he likes to make somewhat of a statement. He likes his creature comforts, but he doesn't want to pay a ton of money for it. So he gets a premium branded Chrysler product. Not super expensive, but still comfortable. So in a sense, even the brand personifies himself as well. See, for myself, looking for a pickup truck for my next vehicle, I know what I like and I know what I like to look at. For myself, if I can afford anything, I'd probably either have a Tundra or a Tacoma TRD Pro because I want something to go way out in the middle of the bush in, have tons of fun, and just go balls deep power and look really rough and rugged because that's what I want. But then quality also comes into play with me as well. My other alternatives would be a GMC Sierra, because it's big, it's burly, and it's rough and tough. But it's a generalized design. The only reason why I'm shooting for that over Ford or Dodge products is, again, the quality that comes with the build of the company. When I buy brand new vehicles, I think about the longevity of having them. I don't look at owning this vehicle for like 1 or 2 years. I look at owning this vehicle for a decade, okay? My son's 12 this year, and I have a car in my driveway that I've had since he was born for 12 years. And it's a regular runabout vehicle, Suzuki SX4. That vehicle personified my wife. Short in stature, but the ability to go out and have fun. Your vehicle and what you choose is the embodiment of your entire personality. Your selection of what you were looking for. My in-law's neighbor owns a Lotus Evora. He's at that middle-age time where he could still deal with all the hard, rough bumps. He really wants that Porsche 911, but he wants to have more fun now, so he got the Evora. It's still a standard gelatinous blob design with go-kart handling and a V6 borrowed from a Toyota Camry, where the Porsche 911 has got this creature comforts and his luxury appeal that he has. He wants to look like he has money, but he wants to get there fast. Right now, he doesn't care about comfort, so it's personifying his personality now. Think about it. When I got out of college, if I was able to afford anything, I probably would have had a Dodge Charger Daytona, or hell, if the Challenger had been out by then, I would have had one of those. I was even considering getting a Golf GTI at one point in time. My choice of vehicles have changed, because back then, I just needed something small and economical to get around in. Now I just want balls deep power and versatility. If I was a millionaire and had tons of money, I would have a Lamborghini Huracan Storado. And the reason why I'd have one of those over a standardized Huracan is due to the fact that I go to camp and I love driving down dirt roads. So I need something that's more versatile for my abilities. My choice is based off of my driving conditions now, where I live, and how I feel. My selection is based off of all kinds kinds of things in my life. And your lifestyle really showcases what type of vehicle you're going to purchase. For the two young affluent people, the couple who live in a condo in downtown Toronto, but are avid adventurers, the people that are going to go out into the wilderness every single week and go hiking, are the type of people who are going to go out and buy a Crosstrek. When they have a family and they stop going out there, they're going to move from that Crosstrek and they're going to get something like a Forester. They still want that little bit of adventure, but they need something more versatile for family life. When they can afford more vehicles, they'll probably move in and somebody will get a BRZ to go back and forth to work, fly around. Something nice, something easy and cheap on gas. If they have more kids and they like to travel, they'll move to the Ascent. They want to start towing things, they'll get themselves a pickup truck. Every segment of the automotive world serves a purpose, and that purpose is to serve a select group of consumers. Essentially, there are 17 different segments of the automotive world right now. You have your sedans, your hatchbacks, your wagons, trucks, crossovers, Crosstreks or trekkings, crossover utility vehicles, active lifestyle vehicles, utility products, vans, coupes, convertibles, sports cars, high-performance vehicles, vehicles with a little bit of sport appeal, vehicles with aftermarket modifications, and alternative fuel vehicles in the hybrid or electric vehicle ring. The only other added one on top of that is special editions of all the original vehicles, but they're all just regular ones with a little bit special edition. Special editions are for those people that just want something generic that personifies a small portion of their life. You know, like the people who bought the Nissan Rogues with Star Wars decals on them. They love Star Wars, and they want to showcase that they love Star Wars, but they just want a regular standard vehicle. So they'll pay a premium just to get that special edition. The aftermarket world is full of people that want more than what the standardized product gives them. People who buy a regular sedan compared to a saloon, people who buy a saloon are the ones who want to own a coupe, but still have a family. The people who buy standard sedans are the people that just want to drive something. People with hatchbacks want more versatility than a sedan to get things in and out of them, but don't want the all-wheel drive weight that comes with a CUV. Wagons are for the people with sedans who love their sedans, never want to give up their sedans, and will never move to the CUV world. They still exist, and that's why we still have a few. Trucks are for your rough and rugged people who need to tow stuff, who need to get work done, who want to take care of their house, who want to go dirt biking and pick stuff up. They're the people that are always spending money. Crossover people are the people that can't make the decision as if they want a utility vehicle, if they want a van, if they want a wagon, if they want a hatch. So they just get everything all blended together into a crossover. The Crosstrek and trekking market people, their selection is based off of the fact of how adventurous they are. You were a sedan person, but you're more adventurous now. You were a CUV person, but you want to go deeper in the bush, and you don't want to spend utility money. These are the people that just want something a little bit above what the standard product gives them, and they're more adventurous people. Active lifestyle vehicles, now that is a new variation. Those are the people who want to own a CUV, but don't want to drive a CUV. They want to drive a sports car. They want to drive a coupe. They don't want to give up that fun, youthful inspiration behind them. They're the people who buy the Mustang Mach-E's. They're young or well-affluent people who love to showcase their fun attitude behind them. Utility products are made for the people who love to go out and explore the world, whether it be the urban world, the rural world, or the backwoods. Vans are for people who love to bring tons of stuff with them all the time, and who really just needs ease of access, because vans are just some of the easiest vehicles to get into and out of. Coupes and convertibles essentially go together. They're for the people who want to look like they have a sports car, but not actually have a sports car. They're the people that don't want tons of people to come with them all the time, because if you got 4 doors on your car, more people are going to want to come with you. When they have to squeeze into the back, they're less likely to come with you, but you still like to go out and have fun with your friends. The convertible is the only alternative to that because you like the wind in your hair. The sports car market are for the people who want to go fast and have fun, but they don't want to spend a ton of money. That's where you move into the high performance chain, where your mentality and your perception, you make your choice based off of not by price, but by how fast and how amazing the technology is in the vehicle. High performance is because you like to show the world you're the fastest, best thing in it. Sport appeal are for the people that buy the standardized products and just want to make look like they have a different and cool vehicle. These are the people that buy like the Volkswagen friggin' R type products. Ooh, it looks like it's aftermarket, but really there's nothing different about it. No, you have to move into full-scale aftermarket. Those are the people that actually make their selection based off of power, performance, and aftermarket modifications on their vehicle because they don't want to look like everyone else. They want to stand out from the crowd. And then you get your EV market and hybrids. Those are the people who want to save the planet. They want to do it in whatever product they want, but they want to save the planet. So you kind of get the gist of this. Your selection for your vehicle is based off of essentially your personality. You can really signify what type of personality a person is by the vehicle they drive. If they made that choice and bought that vehicle brand new, that personifies. This doesn't always work, especially when people buy used vehicles. Now, if they bought used vehicles and they spent a long time and got a decent vehicle, they made their choice. If they're the people that are always rushed into buying something last minute, that's not a personality choice. But in a sense, it still is because your personality is showcased in the fact that 1, you're either cheap, 2, you don't have any time, or 3, you just don't care. So in all reality, our automotive selection when we buy a vehicle is based off of who we are. We may say we want to get something that's better for the environment, and we want to save some money, and we want the sport appeal. And, automotive designers and people like myself are always trying to figure out what the consumer wants. But in all reality, you all want the same damn thing. And all we got to do is spend 5 minutes talking to you, and we'll understand exactly what vehicle you want. We all seem to think we want the Homer, but in all reality, nobody wants to pay the price to get the Homer. Why do you think Powell Motors and The Simpsons went bankrupt? He wanted to build a vehicle for the average guy. Essentially, the average person didn't know what they wanted. They wanted everything in the world, but they didn't want to pay for it. And that is the reason why that product never passed. We don't know what we want because we have to know who we are. Like I said, your personality really comes out with your vehicle. And when you make the choice to get that vehicle, like if you're gifted a vehicle, that's not your choice. That's somebody else's choice. You're personifying their choice. But when you buy that vehicle, that's your mentality. If you're going out and you're buying the cheapest Kia product with the base model, everything in it, just because somebody told you it was decent and it's a good price, that's your personality. You're cheap and you don't care about anything else. Saving a few bucks really doesn't save you in the long run. I had an uncle and aunt that researched and went through every single thing, but in the end, they still bought a Honda, and the Honda signifies their personality. They are very much Honda people. It's like my dad's a very adamant Chrysler Corporation person. I had an uncle that actually went from being a GM person to being a Toyota person now. Once he saw the light at the end of the tunnel, he understood where he was going wrong, but his choice of vehicle was still the same. Different companies don't mean anything when the choice you make of the segment that you're buying is the exact same as before. When you switch from a Toyota Tacoma to get a Chevrolet Colorado, you may think that you've made a change, but in all reality, your personality is still coming out in the exact same vehicle. Maybe your personality slightly changed and you bought the Colorado because it was cheaper than the Tacoma and you needed to save some money. Well, your new personality is showcasing your thrifty nature and a lack of consumer buyer knowledge. In all reality, deep down inside of us is what makes the final decision on what we're going to drive. Our car selection isn't based off of all the information we see or the great designs out there. It's based off of what's in here. It's us. We make the choice, and the choice of our vehicle is made by us internally. External forces can try and do every single thing they want to get you to purchase their vehicle, but in all reality, your personality comes out in your vehicle. You know, a perfect example of that, to buy a Ferrari is because you want to be somebody. To buy a Lamborghini is because you are somebody. I get it, I stole that line from a Lamborghini movie, but it makes perfect sense. Ferruccio had a thing going there. People who buy Lamborghinis know that they've made it, and they don't really care. They can afford the Lamborghini. But the people who go out and buy the Ferrari and try and get into that culture and that stigma want to be somebody. Just because you can afford it doesn't mean you are. So your personality is coming out in the vehicle that you've chosen. So tell us about your personality. What vehicle do you have? And what type of personality do you have? Does it really come out in the type of vehicle you have? Does the color choice signify your personality? Does the segment or the design really showcase who you are? Just drop us a line. Tell us about the vehicle that you have and tell us about your friends, your family, and then sit down and talk with somebody and try and figure out what type of vehicle they're driving before you even see the vehicle that they drive. And see how accurate you are when you start realizing what type of personality they have and start figuring out they probably drive a bam. I'm not joking. 5 minutes with a person, you can figure out their personality and understand the type of vehicle that they would drive. If automotive companies can literally just drill inside of our head and figure figure out what vehicle every single person wants by deciphering their personality, it would make it a lot easier to come up with new models. But that will never happen. Let's hope. And after you've done that, after you found the podcast and sent it out to your friends, your family, your coworkers, your well-wishers, anyone else that you know of, and you click the like button at the bottom, and you've liked, you followed, and you shared us on any of the streaming sites or social media platforms that you found the AutoLooks podcast and AutoLooks.net website on. Head on over to the website, read some of the reviews, check out some of the ratings, and go to the Corporate Links website page. Hell, go to the Rate It page. Rate some of the cars that we have up there through part of our system. Tell us what you think about those designs, and we can figure out what type of vehicle that you personally like. And stay tuned, because our end of the year review is going to be coming in January, where we rate over 600 vehicles from around the globe. Big or small, we rate them all on the AutoLooks.net website. And after that, go to the Corporate Links website page and find all the car companies we've talked about in this podcast. They're all available right from AutoLooks.net, right there on the website. And after that, like we said, send this out to your friends, send it to your family. Tell everyone else, what vehicle do you have and what do you drive? The AutoLooks podcast has been brought to you by Ecom Entertainment Group and distributed by Podbean.com. If you'd like to get in touch with us, send us an email over at email@autolooks.net. So for myself, Everett J., the AutoLooks team here, and my background personality, strap yourself in for this one fun, wild ride that the selection of vehicles we make is going to take us on.